Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing well, having an amazing productive day. As promised for my last video, today I will be canning the beef stew. I'll show you how I do that. And also as a bonus, we'll be making some homemade lumpias. So I went ahead and I made the beef stew in advance. I already have a video up on that. If you want, I'll link it in the bottom. The only difference is this beef stew, I put potatoes and carrots. So while I have some water boiling for the canning lids and to put into the pressure cooker, I am gonna clean up this kitchen and get ready for the next step. So now I'm washing the jars with hot water and soap. I do not boil the jars for sterilization because these jars are going to be put into the electric canner, which go up to 240 to 250 degrees. So boiling these will not be necessary, but you should wash them with hot water and soap, and also check to see if there are any cracks in your jars, which is very important. Okay, so I'm gonna pour some boiling water from the kettle into the pot, and this will be for our lids. Not necessarily to sterilize them, but to soften this rubber band around the lid for better adhesion on the jars. I'm gonna start filling my jars. Here I have 4 pint-sized jars. And I have it pint size because the electric canner only takes pint size and only 4 at a time. So here I am taking out any air pockets that's in the jar. I'm using a bamboo chopstick to do this. You also want to leave a 1-inch headspace because while the jars are in the pressure canner, it will boil and you don't want it to boil over. It gives it room for the liquids to do its thing. So make sure any air bubbles are out of the jars. Okay, now I am taking distilled vinegar and just cleaning the rim of our jars just in case anything got on it. You want to do this so the lids adhere better to the jar. Make sure everything's clean. Then we can put our lids on. Jars with the rings. You don't want to do it tight, just a light close. Make sure your lids are centered. So the pressure cooker slash canner that I'm using is the Instapot Max. Not all pressure cooker has the canning ability, so make sure whichever one you look into can can. I have been using this canner for years and every canning session has been successful. You want to add a little bit of hot water. I put hot water being that the beef stew is hot. You don't want to add cold water to it, but a lot of water isn't needed. I say maybe 1.5 inches from the bottom of the jar is enough. Always make sure to check the gasket around. Make sure it's sturdy and placed well. Okay, it is locked. Now we're gonna choose canning. It's already set for the time that we need for pint size. Pint size is 75 minutes in a pressure canner. We're gonna take out the keep warm and everything looks ready. So right now it's preheating, which shouldn't take long. Once the electric canner gets up to 240, steady, consistent, not going down anymore, it'll start its pressure canning process, which these lights here will light up. Okay guys, so the electric canner reached its temperature. Right now it's at 242. It's now in the cook process or canning process. And now we have time to start on our lumpias. Okay, so we have our filling done. While this cools off, I'm gonna clean this kitchen and then we'll start on the dipping sauce. Okay, so the pressure canner stopped. It stopped its canning process. The temperature inside is 247. So now we have to wait for it to cool down and for this little red light to go out in order to open it. Kitchen is clean, and now we could start our sweet chili dipping sauce. Okay, so what we're putting in the pot for the sweet chili sauce is 1/2 cup of water and 3/4 cup of white vinegar. We're gonna get that going. Got crushed garlic cloves. I have about 4 here. 1 cup of sugar. 2 tablespoons of chili paste. This is the one I'm using. I saved some shredded carrots from the lumpia filling. So I'm gonna put some of that in there. A little salt. I'm gonna mix this and wait for it to come to a boil. Now that it's come up to a boil, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch mixed with a little water just to thicken. After a couple of minutes, the sauce has thickened. I'm going to get it off the burner, let it cool before putting it in a jar. Now we can go and start wrapping up our lumpias. So I'm just putting the sweet chili sauce in this jar, and we're gonna fry up some of these lumpias. I really made them. Okay, canner just went out, so it's cool enough to now open it, but still there's a lot of steam, so be very careful while doing so. I'm going to place the jars on this towel so it can finish the cooling process. Make sure there's never any drafts hitting the glass jars. These jars should stay untouched for at least 24 hours till it completely cools. Then you could take off the rings. Also check and make sure that the lids have the indentation. You would also hear it, it'll pop, meaning no air at all is in the jars, and it's totally sealed and secure. Also guys, once your jars have completely cooled the following day, make sure you label them, write what it is on the lid and the date, and store them in a nice cool place. They'll last you for a couple of years. Also make sure you take these rings off. Do not store your jars with these rings, only the lid should be on it. My family and I, we like to rotate our jars. They last a couple of years. It's good for a quick dinner meal. It's already cooked. All you have to do is warm it up. And it's also good just in case there's an emergency. You have food on the shelf. smells delicious. Okay guys, we had an extremely productive day in the kitchen. I thank you so much for clicking on this video and coming along and doing these things with me. I hope to see you guys next time.